this is Dr. Herzog with LeBauer Physical Therapy here today for our second video in our 6-part series titled The 6 Signs That You Have a Pelvic Floor or Core Problem That Can Be Addressed by Physical Therapy. So before I get started, go ahead and click the like and subscribe button below and share this with a friend who you think might find this video useful. So, we recently released a checklist titled The 6 Signs That You Have a Core or Pelvic Floor Problem That Can Be Addressed by Physical Therapy. So our last video went over the first checkpoint, so go ahead and look in our video library to go ahead and find that video, because for this video we're going to cover the second bullet point. So the second point was that you've been told that you have interstitial cystitis, and you've been told, hey, it's just some bladder inflammation, go ahead, take some medicine, and you'll be fine. Fast forward, you've tried taking medications, but you find that your symptoms are not gone, and you've just been told that you have to live with it. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. There is something that you can do to help address your symptoms. So physical therapy is actually the gold standard treatment for IC. And there's a lot that PT can do. So in this video, I'm just going to go over some of the goals of physical therapy and what physical therapy will help you with, as well as just some tips along the way on how to find a good physical therapist for you. So the biggest thing that PT is going to help you do off the bat is help address tightness in your pelvic floor, core, and hips. So a lot of the times, your pelvic floor tightness starts because there's inflammation in the bladder, and your core and pelvic floor tighten up to just guard because you're having some pelvic pain. Well, then folks usually get treatment, they get some medication to help bring down that inflammation, but the pelvic floor hasn't been treated, so it still is really tight and can refer pain throughout the pelvis, hips, and low back. So the first thing that PT is going to help you work on is your pelvic floor tightness, and you can learn several different relaxation techniques on how to relax your pelvic floor. But it's also important to find a physical therapist who works on not only the pelvic floor, but hip tightness and instability and core tightness and instability, because a lot of the times where you think the problem is, it isn't. So there can definitely be a lot of tightness or instability in your core and hips that it's important to find a good PT who can either rule in and say, hey, yes, this is contributing to your problem, or rule it out and say, no, your symptoms really are just isolated to your pelvic floor. And that's going to be different for every person. So the next thing physical therapy can help you with is identifying what other triggers can be related to your pain. So a lot of this is going to include looking at your sleep, any dietary triggers that you have, any movement triggers that you have, or just any other musculoskeletal conditions that can be contributing to your pain. So that is another thing to look for in a physical therapist, is someone who understands that IC is multifactorial and can help you by providing you with resources to track and then identify any sleep triggers, any food triggers, or just any co-founding conditions that you might have in your musculoskeletal system. So a lot of the folks that we see with IC, their typical treatment goals will look a lot like this. So a lot of them are working on learning how to relax their pelvic floor, as well as relax their hips. But once we relax muscles, we need to retrain them. So a lot of it looks like teaching their hips and their core and their pelvic floor to work together to be long and strong. So essentially, if muscles need to be long in order to be strong, because a muscle contraction is essentially a muscle lengthening to its full length to then use that length to contract to produce power. So a lot of our folks with IC have had pelvic tightness and hip tightness. So their muscles are really used to being really tight, and they can't contract very far because they don't have a lot of length. So therefore, their muscles aren't producing a lot of power. But if we just work on loosening those muscles and don't retrain them, their body just isn't going to feel safe and stable in that new range of motion. So we need to help them relax, but then also use that new range of motion and strengthen through that new range of motion. And it's really important to do it in that order. So another quick little tip on how to find a good physical therapist for your IC is a therapist that understands that you need to relax the muscles, then strengthen them, because we see a lot of folks with IC who didn't go to the right therapist and they were just told to do Kegels. Well, Kegels, this is one of the cases where Kegels aren't always the answer, and they can actually make things worse, because if you don't relax the muscle before you strengthen it, you're just going to strengthen that muscle in its little short range of motion, and you can actually irritate it more. So that's another quick tip as to finding a good PT, is find someone who uses Kegels appropriately for you. And also someone who listens to you, understands your unique situations, and helps you work on achieving your goals, not their goals for you. So that is our brief overview of IC. If this is something that you struggle with and you are interested in learning more information on how we can help you, we are currently offering free total body diagnostics. So what is that? Essentially, it's a no-cost obligation 20-minute consult where you'll sit down with one of our doctors of physical therapy, and we will kind of listen to your medical history, how you have been treating your IC, and then kind of move into what are your goals, what do you hope to achieve, and then we'll take you through a little movement exam just to see how your hips, your core might be contributing to your problem, and then talk about a plan to help you reach those goals. So if this is something that you're interested in, go ahead and click the link in our bio to apply and learn more information. In the meantime, go ahead and drop a comment with something you took away from this video today. Go ahead and click the like and subscribe button and share this with a friend. Thanks, guys.